David Newton covers the Panthers for ESPN.com, kind enough to join us. David, good morning. Thanks for joining us. What do you make after this confrontation?
Well, Dan, I've seen a lot of weird things happen in Cam Newton's career. This is one of the more weirder. I mean, it was crazy the fact that Kelvin Benjamin called him out in the first place, because Kelvin Benjamin has never gotten more attention than when he played with Cam Newton. But what happened on the field to me was really strange. I mean, Kelvin said all these things, but he didn't stand behind what he said. I mean, you could question whether Cam should have gone over there and stood up for him before the game, but Cam's a guy that wants to know what's going on there. They were good buddies. He called him Benji. Kelvin Benjamin dressed up as an elf for Cam to deliver Christmas gifts the first few years they were in the league. So what exactly happened? Now, I've heard rumors that maybe there was a little disagreement between the two at some point in the last year. But, again, Cam has stood up for Kelvin Benjamin throughout his career, when he was hurt, during his rookie season, when he made mistakes, when he needed to go after or work hard to go after a guy after there was an interception. He stood up for him, and the fact that Kelvin called him out was just crazy. But I guess it's just going to continue to go on after what happened last night, because Kelvin, even though he said he was moving on, did nothing to diffuse what he said.
Yeah, I was surprised with the comments, but I don't know the backstory. If there is a backstory, I thought that they got along, and everything I read about them is that they got along, but you're not sure if there was – Did Cam care if Carolina kept Kelvin Benjamin?
Yeah, I mean, he was really – you could tell the day after this happened to the trade last year that Cam was a little bit upset about it. I mean, he really was close to Kelvin. He liked him as a target and as a player. They had a really good rookie year for Kelvin's rookie year together, because Kelvin, again, had 1,000 yards receiving and led the team in receptions. I mean, he had a really good season there. And to put it all the blame on Cam Newton, I thought was a little strange. So, again, it's a puzzle to me, and maybe we'll never know, because Cam won't speak about it. He's trying to take the high road in all this, and he's only commented on his social media. He has not talked to us at camp. So I'll be curious if he'll address it this coming week. I doubt he will.
He has some odd body language, and you're around him a lot. And I mentioned this, that he's grinning as he's saying something to Kelvin Benjamin. His hands are behind his back, and it's weird body language there. I don't think you're a body language expert, but I'm going to ask you to read into it. What is, like, Cam, it looks passive-aggressive, like, hey, what's up, man? And my hands are behind my back, so I'm sort of coming in. He tried to shake his hand, but to me, it feels like, I still want to talk to you. I got a problem here, and I want to talk to you. I was surprised that they did it on the football field in front of everybody, including Cam spotting a camera over Thomas Davis's shoulder.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I mean, they could have settled this off the field when, the teams arrived, but they didn't. Cam chose to wait there. I think the fact that Thomas Davis was already confronting Kelvin about this, Cam probably felt maybe it's okay if I go over there and kind of see what's going on, because Thomas is the senior leader on the team, and Thomas seemed to be smiling a little bit. But Cam's expression after Kelvin didn't take his hand for the handshake really turned to more of a puzzlement there. And just, I think the fact he kept his hands behind his back was just saying, hey, I'm not going to make this a confrontation. But he started it by going over there and talking to him, so it was kind of a confrontation. I think Cam just wants to know what's up, and I don't know if he questions as much about what Kelvin said about his accuracy, because that's pretty well documented. I think the football knowledge probably got to him more than that. And I think he just want to know why Kelvin said these things. And I guess he felt betrayed in all this. That's the biggest thing I got from it.
And you know what, David, I took away the part you just singled out, where he's really testing, he's questioning his football IQ. And as a black quarterback, and as we know what has happened, in the history of the NFL, I don't need Kelvin Benjamin to be questioning my football IQ. All these people question my football IQ leading up to the draft. Now I got a former teammate who's saying this. You might say I wasn't accurate, but that one I think is the one that stung pretty deep, went pretty deep on Cam.
No, I totally agree. And you go back and look at the other quarterbacks that Kelvin mentioned there. One of them was Eli Manning. And if you go back and look at Eli Manning's career completion percentage, the first 10 years of his career, it was worse than Cam Newton's. So that really didn't have any validity to it. So, and Kelvin, he's a guy that when he was at Carolina, he seemed to make excuses at times. And I don't even get the fact that he brought up the whole death of his mom and the fact he didn't get to mourn that. And he felt like that was on the Panthers, too. I thought they did give him a chance to mourn. He did come to camp and try to prepare right away, but he's put on social media right after that happened how being around his teammates and the coaches was helping him with the healing process. So where all this came from, I mean, I know he said he was angry when he did the interview, but he hasn't said what he was angry about. So, again, until somebody comes out here and explains it in more detail, I'm just kind of a loss of words with it.
Carolina more likely to go 10-6 or 6-10?
I think 10-6. I think the weapons they put around Cam Newton, I think they're the best weapons he's ever had. I know there's a lot of young guys they've got to depend on, but I really like DJ Moore. You saw some of what he could do last night. I like what they've got in Curtis Samuel, who was their second-round pick last year. Christian McCaffrey, if they get to 25 to 30 touches a game that Ron Rivera and North Turner say that they want to get out of him, I think he's going to have a really big year. I mean, you saw what he could do with a couple of catches last night, 29 yards from those. He showed he can run up between the tackles with the touchdown run. So I think you're going to see more of the Christian McCaffrey you saw, who was a star player at Stanford, than you saw last year, where he was kind of the change of pace back for Jonathan Stewart. Instead, they're going to have a change of pace back for Christian McCaffrey.
David, thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Dan.
That's David Newton. He covers the Panthers for ESPN.com.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.